The new Mario series, the bane of all hardcore fans of originality. For those who didn't live through the early 2010s, let me tell you, it was not easy being a hardcore Nintendo fan. Imagine a point in time where their most exciting release of the year was a shoddy remake of an N64 game and a combo pack of epic yarn and Yoshi's Story. And truly, no year was better foreshadowing of what this generation would be than 2012. At least 2011 had 2 N64 remakes.
New Super Mario Bros. U, the direct sequel to New Super Mario Bros. Wii. If you think that's weird given that New 2 was released in between them, then you're wrong and also maybe stupid apparently. This game was developed to be a key title for the Wii U at the start of its life, with Nintendo pushing it hard before release. The game was released in November of 2012 and was generally received positively, except by all the people that hated it.
Yes, nowadays New Mario U has a pretty bad reputation. I don't think that's really a surprise these days. The general consensus seems to be that on its own the game isn't terrible, but given just how many linear, retro-inspired Mario games there were in just a few years, it's just not interesting. So, the question is, even putting originality aside, how good or bad is this game? And is it worth playing today? I mean, I'm pretty sure the answer to that last one is no, but it's still probably worth figuring out.
So our story begins with Peach being kidnapped because it's a Mario game. However, this time is completely different. The castle is kidnapped too.
Well, that changes everything.
Yeah, the opening cutscene focuses on justifying the main power-up for the game as opposed to, an actually original plot. It's just, hey, go through the levels we made for you, fight a Koopaling at the end of each world, then fight a boss fight against Bowser at the end that transitions into a fight against Giant Bowser because it worked so well in New Wii, why not here? Well, at least the mini-bosses aren't also the Koopalings this time, even if they're still not, interesting, or mostly original.
And in case you couldn't tell, yes, that goes for the entire game, too.
So we have a world map with 8 full worlds. However, thanks to a branch, even without shortcuts, you only have to actually play through 7 worlds to beat the final boss. Now to be fair, that's not too different from New Mario 1, but it's kinda weird given that this game includes the Koopalings as the world bosses, so even though the 7 of them are all possible to fight, you can beat the game without fighting one of them.
I mean, it's fine. Who gives a shit about the plot of the game that they came up with?
So looking at this game, well, this is New Mario. New Wii to be specific. The graphics, the world themes, the music is based directly on that game's soundtrack. It's weird, the whole game just looks like New Wii, but slightly higher quality because, Wii U instead of Wii. It doesn't really take advantage of the system's advances like the HD or gamepad. It's just slightly better looking. Which is an interesting way to show off the console's power. I mean, we have grasslands, a desert, a beach, a forest, the whole shebang.
Yeah, in case it wasn't obvious, there's basically nothing original to talk about here. There are a couple of interesting things to talk about, I guess, just not terribly original things. Like the main power-up gimmick for the game, which lets Mario fly. Sound familiar?
Yeah, this is New Super Mario Bros. Wii, complete with propeller mushroom and penguin suit, except a lot harder to get. These levels are kind of interesting, not in terms of gimmicks or originality, because there's none, but hey, there are some fun levels to play through and some star coins to collect and a few secret exits you can access. Yeah, remember when I said there wasn't anything original to talk about? I'm going to be honest, this game leaves almost no impact. I don't hate it, it's not as bad as Lost Levels or Mario Land. It controls well, the levels are smartly designed, and there's even a co-op mode, so you can even play with friends. The problem is, you could say the same thing for New Mario Wii, and way more people own a Wii than have ever owned a Wii U.
Overall, I just have nothing interesting to say about this game. And frankly, I don't think anybody does. I think it's telling that the only reason anybody remembers this game is because of its release and a bit of DLC. I don't hate it as much as some people do, I don't even dislike it as much as New Mario. I just don't care about this game at all. Okay, I think that's enough for this bit. God almighty, I need something to eat. Maybe I have something in the pantry. Okay, let's talk about this for real. So if you somehow didn't see my new Mario 2 review, you probably have no clue what's going on with this video so far, but pretty much everything I said before the cut was from that review. I don't necessarily think it's really reflective of my feelings on the game, to be honest, but I kind of wanted to demonstrate what this game would have felt like when it came out. One problem with my reviewing style is it's hard to replicate or understand the circumstances surrounding a game's release. I usually don't even take them into account, but I felt like it was important since, that's kind of the biggest legacy these two have.
New U came out a grand total of 3 months after New 2, and it was a part of the same sub-series, had shockingly similar graphics and design, and a title only differentiated by a single consonant sound, U instead of 2. Not only that, but it was a launch title for the Wii U, one of only 4 made by Nintendo themselves. This game may have been received decently at launch, but any enthusiasm for it quickly faded. And the thing is, I don't entirely think that's this game's fault. There are some genuinely cool ideas in this game, like the baby Yoshis and the Super Acorn. Seriously, the flying squirrel suit is one of the best flying power-ups in the series, and certainly one of the most original. The levels generally aren't that special, but they are some of the best Nintendo has made for the series, with a few of them even standing above the rest either in design or theming. For a new series game, there are a surprising number of new creative fights, like all the tower bosses in New 2 were just Reznor from Mario World, but again, here, while most of them are fights with Boom Boom, Kamek will give him new abilities with each new fight, plus there are fights against a souped-up sumo bro, plus a fight against Kamek himself, and 2 very different fights against Bowser Jr. There are new modes to play through, with Challenge Mode genuinely being brilliant. And none of this is even mentioning the standalone DLC of Luigi U or the addition of Toadette in the Switch port.
Oh, maybe it's better if we don't mention playable Toadette. Here's the thing, basic as this game is, I genuinely have a lot of appreciation for it. I've played the deluxe version through multiple times, and I'll probably do so again. I think this game is genuinely fun and engaging. It just released at a god-awful time. New U being a launch title for the Wii U alone was already a bad idea, but releasing it so soon after New 2 was what turned the new series into a laughingstock. Before then, both the new Wii and the first new Mario sold over 30 million each, but 2 and U? They barely sold 20 million combined. And that's not even talking about how poorly the fans received them. Like, seriously, when I was talking about this being a bad time to be a Nintendo fan, imagine hearing that there was gonna be a brand new Mario game at the launch of Nintendo's new console, and it looked barely removed from a damn DS game. New Super Mario Bros. U isn't a terrible game. Frankly, I think it's a good one. But it was a blot on the series for years, which ultimately is how we got to here.
As of when I upload this, Super Mario Bros. Wonder has been out for a day. Obviously, when I'm writing, recording, and editing this, I don't actually have it yet. I did most of that in August. Do you think I'm a Nintendo insider? But I can tell you right now, there's a reason so many people got excited for Wonder. And it's not because there's been some drought of Mario games, or at least not just because of that. It's because, for over a decade, this is what 2D Mario has been. Hell, for a number of years, this is what all Mario was. And however good this game may or may not be, it's impossible to get excited about it. Now, with Wonder, whatever else the game might be, even if the rest of the game feels just like the new games, it's still exciting that the game just looks different. Real talk, people getting so excited just because they see a slightly stylized art style is probably not a great sign for how sick people got of this series.
Honestly, I enjoy this game. I especially think it's worth shining a spotlight on New Super Luigi U, which is what I would describe as the idea behind Lost Levels, but actually well made. 100 seconds to play through harder levels with Luigi's physics. Plus, we get a remix version of the levels from New U, which allows for iteration we hadn't seen from the series before. Overall, I think this is the best game in the new series, but I also kind of hate the other new series games, so that really doesn't feel like I'm saying a lot. I care about this game, but I can absolutely understand if people hate it. Or, more realistically, have absolutely no feelings about it. New Super Mario Bros. U isn't the best game in the whole series. But, for what it is, I think it's pretty fun. I mean, we have a big interconnected world map, which adds very little, but it makes the shortcuts really fun in this game. Would I prefer the Super Mario World style of world map? Sure. Would I prefer Super Mario World in general? Absolutely. But I mean, it's better than Super Mario Land. No, but seriously, real talk, I think this game is more than decent, and if you haven't given it a shot, you might as well. It's readily available for the Nintendo Switch, and the only changes really don't detract that much from the game. There are a few subtractions, but they really don't matter all that much. Like, I don't think anyone is actually going to freak out about the lack of gamepad support, considering, gamepad. Does New U deserve all the hate it gets? No. Does it deserve some of the hate it gets? Maybe. But ultimately, the game is just overshadowed more than anything else. Even by the 3D entries.